Nice. We're back for our class of Unreal Engine 5, where we're gonna talk about ray tracing. We're gonna talk more about it, okay? About render using ray tracing, okay? Mainly about animation now by using move render quill, and now the qualities of ray tracing. How to render an animation, for example, in high quality, okay? So we're going to see this together, okay? Uh, to keep going, let's open sequence here and let's render the video, okay? We can, for example, that I think it's a good place to make some comparison. We can use this sequence 03. Remember the camera of the table here? We can see these flickerings happening here. How can we remove them with ray tracing? How can we render with a higher quality? Let me open the sequence here, double click on it. So here in the other monitor, and let's run the animation. First, let's try to find out how we can remove the flickering of the scene, okay? Look, we have some flickerings that are happening. Can you see this? Look. And this flickering, it's not from render. It's here on Unreal, okay? All right, let's see. Nice. Now with the resources of ray tracing, we can, for example, go into project settings. I'm gonna leave it like smaller. Let me see. And let's get back here. Here. Okay, we can see this plot. Okay. This plot is related to the type of shadow. Okay, here, let's see. For example, we're using virtual shadow map. Okay, that is a module of calculation of shadow that is more accurate, and it's gonna give us shadows in high quality. Okay, however, it is still in beta. It has a better shadow quality, but it is still in beta. We can change from virtual shadow map to shadow maps. Look at this. This way, we can remove the flickering. Look at this. Look, there is no flickering here anymore. Okay, that comes from the shadow, all right, and also from the light. Right? Let me exit the camera. Okay, let's see the difference, the visual difference. You're going to notice that it doesn't have a really huge impact, okay? And actually here, it decreases the flickering, you know, in the Chrome area where we used Lumen. Let me see it here, edit, project settings, and rendering. Let's see, where is it? Here. Let's see, shadow map to virtual shadow maps. We can even compare. Let's print this. All right, let's open the Photoshop. Print. Control V. Here, virtual shadow maps. Shadow maps. And print. Look at this. So what happened? Well, with virtual shadow map, we gained a little more that blur, you know, that we can get in that shadow, you know, where we adjusted the diffuse of the shadow, if the shadow is diffuse or not. Look at this. with virtual shadow maps, um, we kind of lose detail there in the couch. Let's see, and it is also related to the light that we have above the couch. All right, look this shadow here. In this case, maybe it got better. Yeah, maybe. Let me see if it's possible to bring a little blur here, so that this shadow doesn't get too tough, too hard. Let's test other resources to find a cost benefit. It's better to have the flickering or the shadow more diffuse, let's say. So let's see which one is better, the flickering or the shadow more diffuse. We don't have the control of letting the shadow diffuse, so let's get back. Project settings, let's get back here, rendering, virtual shadow maps. Look at this, the shadow is diffused now. Look. All right, so you're going to define based on your project, on your camera. Let's suppose you are on a camera that during the sequence, for example, let's see, it's not visible, for example, this problem of the flickering. For example, there are cameras that it's not visible, this problem, for example, the one with the HAL. For example, there is no flickering here in our animation. So maybe using virtual shadow map would be nice for this scene. There in the scene of the table, we see the flickering. Maybe in that scene, it's not cool, maybe here it's more important, like the shadow, the diffuse shadow, it's more important than the flickering because we cannot see the flickering here, but the shadow it's more evident. So it's up to you to see which one is more important in the scene that you are, in the camera that you are. Okay, here in the camera of the kitchen, let's see, the sequence 03, it's more important for me to remove the flickering than the diffuse shadow. Okay, so let's do it. Project settings, and let's remove the flickering for now. In May of 2022, let's change from virtual shadow map to shadow map. Okay, and in the shadow here, maybe we can attenuate here a little bit, decrease the intensity maybe, or changing this alternation radius. Let's try 500, 200, let's see, 500. Okay, let's decrease the intensity, 3000. Let's see. Nice. So we removed the first problem, that is the flickering, okay, in the scene. Okay, it's more beautiful. Nice. Let's see another adjustment. For example, when we use the ray tracing, we decrease the noiser of the scene when we use ray tracing, when it's available. Okay, let's see, for example, let's see, let's type ray here, use hardware ray tracing when it's available. Okay, let's press play, the animation, play it. Look at this, it's clean. Yeah, perfect. Nice. Let's disable the use ray tracing when it's available and press play. Let's see. Let's see. Look here. Look at this. We can notice a little noise on the specular. Look at this. You see the noise happening here? Immersive mode. Look at this. That's for sure. We can try to reduce this by increasing, for example, screen percentage. Let's take a look. I think it's gonna crash our Unreal. Okay, it was too much. Okay, we can restart and then we can keep going. All right, I'm gonna restart. Okay, let's see. In that moment, it was 160. It was too much. Let's try to use 140 maybe, and maybe turn off the sub level, maybe. Let's open the main level. The scene of the sequence 03. Let's see if it's possible. The frames, okay, 60 frames. Immersive mode, let's take a look. 26 frames. It's heavy. We have to be careful because let's open the sequence here. 15 frames. Look, it's getting heavy, our scene. So maybe it can crash. Look at the flickering there. We have a flickering here. Let's try to increase to 120 the screen percentage. Let's see. Okay, Unreal didn't crash. That's nice. Let's see. Look, 28 frames. Let's see if it's gonna remove the flickering. Look at this. Look. It's better, but let's see. Be careful when you increase this 140, because here we are testing to see the parameters, which parameters have the most better cost benefit. Let's press play again. 25, okay, FPS. We have to be careful to not crash Unreal. Look, maybe, look at this. Cool. Look, increasing a little bit the screen percentage here, maybe it can go unnoticed, okay, without ray tracing. So these are resources that you can find in case you don't have ray tracing available. But if you have, there is a lower cost if you use the ray tracing when it's available, for example, because you gain FPS, okay? We get like 30 or more or less like that. So you get more frames and you remove the flickering. Project settings, let's see. All right, let's see. Rendering. Use harder ray tracing when it's available. Let's see the impact on the FPS. Look at this. 4 frames more or less, and it brought more light. It's visually better. So the cost benefit looks better, yeah, to use ray tracing when it's available. It's processing, and after it's gonna be better. So if you notice the cost benefit of ray tracing, it removes the flickering there. Look at this. We don't have the flickering, you see? So it makes sense to use ray tracing when it's available. Okay. Nice. Great. So we found out how to remove the flickering in our scene, okay, by changing the virtual shadow map, okay. Let me exit the immersive mode. All right. Edit, project settings. Um, Rendering. We changed from virtual shadow maps that we had the benefit of the shadow more diffuse. Okay, we changed to shadow maps because with virtual shadow maps it was bringing flickers. Okay, and we didn't like that, so we removed the flickering. Okay, on the table of specular by using harder ray tracing when it's available and shadow maps. Okay, so if you don't have ray tracing, I try to increase the screen percentage. Okay, that way it can help to remove the noise that appears. So how can we render this in high quality? For example, how can we do that in high quality? So that, for example, we could decrease here to 50 in viewport so we can get more FPS and render in high quality, for example, by using command lines and with the resources of ray tracing. We can use the move render queue, okay, that we learned. All right, it opens here. Let's see. Let's configure it here. Let's export the video. Okay. Instead of exporting PNG to synchronize after and unite these frames on Premiere, for example, let's render in video already by using the move render queue. We need to enable another plugin. Okay, let me see. Here. Okay, plugins. Let's try to find. I think it's cut. No. Pro. Let me see. Let's see. Apple Pro Rest Media. We're going to use this, okay, and restart. Okay, we enabled this plugin and now we have access to render. Besides JPEG, besides PNG, we can render in Pro Cut, right, of the Final Cut. Okay, that allows us to render in the move render queue in video. Okay, let's open the main level again. We just restarted. Sequence 3. It looks like a lot of things to do. Like, oh, to render a video, I'm gonna do all of this, Dennis? Well, in the first time, yes. But after that you enable the plugin, after you understood, like, oh, it's better that I have the flickering or the shadow map. After you understand, it gets really faster, it gets really faster. Let's say, for example, you already know the paths that you have to go. Look, it's fast. You identify where the flick is, edit project settings. So if you prefer not to have flickering, you change here, okay, to shadow maps. Look, the ray tracing, for example, I can enable this sequence. It's ready. Look at this. Oh, I'm gonna render this sequence. So you go here, move render queue. We open it here. We already enabled the plugin, and now we can start rendering. In the first time, it looks like it takes a longer time because we are configuring things, we are understanding and everything. But after, you see that it gets faster, you know. So we don't want the JPEG, we want in this format. Let's see this one here, Apple Pro. Okay, this one, in the last one. Okay, it's gonna export in this format. Okay, already in video. Nice. What else do we want to add here? Well, let's add a console variable where I'm gonna tell that um, my resolution, my screen percentage, it's not gonna be 100 or 50. It's gonna be 140. Okay, or point screen percentage. Okay, so I'm using a console variable. Okay, the one that I have access, for example, here. You see, or point screen percentage. You see, so we have access to this console variables like a command line, you know. So I want this to be equal 140. Okay, I'm gonna have a render more defined. Does it make sense? Cool. So okay, output resolution. Let's see. Um, let's say that, let's specify that I'm gonna get started with a frame 1 until the 300. You can export uh, with this resolution or in 4K. I'm gonna use this resolution. Look at this, because I'm already improving the image here. Okay, I'm almost with the double of the quality. Okay, I would be like double if I had like 200%, you know, upscale on my image, basically like a 4K. But Unreal can crash. The chances are high. So it's related to your GPU. So I'm gonna put 140 because 200 is too much, you know. You can try here 100, okay? And you can put here 4K, you know. So it's gonna be related to your GPU as well, okay? So it can crash or not. So maybe your DPU isn't strong enough, so you decrease this a little bit. So yeah, nice. So the output with the screen percentage in 140, it's given upscale here. So it's not a PNG, okay? It is already a video format. So I'm gonna tell that I want to render in my desktop. All right, I'm gonna select the folder as I did, accept, and render local. Let's see if it's not gonna crash Unreal. Nice. Rendering. Look, there is no flickering. And actually we can render the video and disable the shadow map, okay? And getting back to virtual shadow maps. Then we're gonna notice the flickering. Look at this. Now there is no flickering because we made the upscale in the image with the command line, you know. So let's see. It's opening the other monitor. Okay. Oops. Look at this. It's very fluid, you know. We have a cool definition because we brought an upscale of 140, and there is no flickering here because we chose to use ray tracing when it's available. Okay, if you don't have ray tracing, you can do this strategy of the upscale, right? And then you're gonna have the same result, okay, as if you increase the screen percentage. To compare, let me change the name here. Shadow map. Let's see. Rename this shadow map Yeah, that's it. And let's render this same animation. Project settings, rendering with virtual shadow maps. Okay, it's gonna get the flickering there. And let's see, let's disable uh, this. Okay, look, we have a flickering there. Let's disable Unreal when it's available. And let's try to improve the noise, with an upscale. Maybe a little more, like 160. Let's hope it doesn't crash. Unreal. Save all. And let's render. Nice. It didn't crash. Look, the flickering happening there. So virtual shadow map. In this case, uh, the cost of having the shadow, the diffused shadow, is higher than the benefit of not having the flicker. So I would chance to remove the flickering, by disable the virtual shadow map. This one is the virtual shadow map, all right, without ray tracing when it's available. So let's see the flickering. Okay, the virtual shadow map. Look, the flickering is happening there, here. But with the upscale of 140, almost unnoticeable, the flickering here. Okay. Nice. Let's delete this too. And the better quality possible for this camera here. We identified that project settings, rendering, use ray tracing when it's available, shadow map to render, cancel variable 160. Until 160 we got it. Maybe 180 can be, but the risk of crashing Unreal, it's too high. Let's do the same process to finish this class here in the camera of the hall. I think it's gonna be beautiful because now I have ray tracing in the scene, in the reflections. Okay, let's render. I think that's gonna be cool. Yeah, let's press play. Okay, opens the door. I think it's gonna turn on the lights. Let's see. Look, it's really beautiful. Oh my god, really beautiful. Nice. Let's see. Changing the color. The frames. 700 frames. Okay. Move render queue. Delete this too and add again. Sequence 4 configured. We don't want JPEG. Apple. Cancel a variable. R point screen percentage. Screen percentage. R point screen percentage. 180. Maybe here we can get this number because this scene is smaller. Nice. The output, desktop, let's see, render here. Let's rename the others. Okay. Let's see. Let's save all. Let me reduce here 50 so that we can spare the GPU. Okay, so the less things are opened when you're rendering, it's better. Okay, let's see. Here 1 until 700. Okay, let me see if there is something opened. Okay, let's see if it's not gonna crash Unreal. If Unreal crashes, we can decrease to 160. Look, nice. Yeah, it has rendered. Nice. So this way, you can find the better resources for each scene, And actually, for this one, maybe we can use the virtual shadow map. Maybe here it's interesting to have the diffuse shadow. Look, there is no flickering here, correct? Let's cancel. All right. It already saved this, but we can delete this. Edit project settings, rendering, virtual shadow maps. Let's see if the big size, if it's gonna flick here that way. I don't think so. I think it's because we're using 50% of screen percentage. Let's see, and render local. Let's see if it's not gonna crash Unreal. Oh, it didn't crash. Okay, nice. We have the diffuse shadow here. Look, it's diffuse, it's beautiful. Yeah, that's it. In the cost benefit, it's better here. Use the virtual shadow map. Let's wait the rendering. Nice. Let's see how it is now. Sequence 04 and play it. Look at this. It brought the flickering here. Unfortunately, it brought this leakage here. Look at this. It's a pity because the diffuse shadow was really good, but the cost of that flickering, it looks high, So, I mean, related to the cost of the shadow. So let's render with shadow map. Okay. All right. So let's finish this class now, where we learned how to adjust the project settings based on the defects and remove the flickering, okay, and leakage when we're gonna render. Okay, during the process of creation, you can allow the flickering or not use the ray tracing or some leakage, but when you're gonna finish like rendering the project, it makes sense that you solve the problems. Okay, so use shadow map when you have these spots, these leakages in the scene. Use the virtual shadow map when you identify that in that scene there is no leakage, so, and it's important to use the diffuse shadow or more diffuse cancel variable, to add quality in your final render, to make an upscale of your render. Add, for example, if you want to render in a video format, with the plugin that we enabled. Okay, so we have a lot of different ways to get the same thing. So let's finish this class, and in the next class we're going to talk more about render using move render quill. Okay, but with path tracing. Okay, we are rendering now with looming and ray tracing for the translucent materials, And now we're gonna make a render of the scene by using path tracing plus move render quill. Okay, see you.